All right, this is our next class that we will be going through after we finish Moby Dick here in about 2 weeks. We're in the last two classes of Moby Dick. Previously, last year, we had gone through Thomas Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow, chapter by chapter. And now I want to do Understanding Mason and Dixon. We'll go through Mason and Dixon, which he wrote right after Gravity's Rainbow, although he did not publish it for a couple of decades. 1997 is when it came out. I think it was 1975 for Gravity's Rainbow. And I've only read about a third of this when it first came out, and then I got distracted by another project, and I want to go back to it because it was very, very good. And it's written in a style that imitates the style of 18th century English prose, where they're still capitalizing nouns, and they have strange contractions that we don't use anymore. So it does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it flows right along. And it's about the legendary Mason and Dixon and their laying of the Mason-Dixon line that, of course, later becomes the backbone for the Civil War, dividing between America's North and its South, the Union and the Confederates. And it all comes out of this boundary dispute. I think it's between the Balts and the Penns, if I remember right, that they hired these two astronomers and geographers to come in. But it's wonderful. They make almost like a comedy team, a back and forth comedy team. I think one of them is a Taurus astrologically, and I think the other is a Leo. So you have that opposition right there with the solar sign. The sun is always associated with the lion, and Taurus is the earth sign. It's always associated with the earth. Venus rules it in astrology. And indeed, I'm sure Pynchon knows, I could tell from Gravity's Rainbow that he knows how to do astrology. It's very clear. And that because the first part of the book, the first 100 pages, concerns their voyage to the island of Sumatra in order to observe the transit of Venus. And Venus rules Taurus. So that's just in the first section, the first 100 pages. And then from there, they go across on a rollicking journey across 18th century America. They meet George Washington. They get him stoned. All kinds of funny things. Pynchon is just, he's a rare mix of a comedic sensibility with high erudition, kind of like James Joyce. In that respect, I consider him to be the American equivalent to James Joyce. He's just as fine as we get. And this is said to be his best book, even though Gravity's Rainbow is his most famous book. But the critical consensus is that this is his best book. So I'm very excited to be doing this. So what we'll do here is we'll start on Saturday, September 7th at 12 noon for 2 hours. And then that's MST, Mountain Standard Time. And we'll continue for the next 7 Saturdays after that until October 12th. And we'll read about, because it's a 778-page book, so we'll read about 100 pages a week, which I think is perfectly doable. And to enroll in the class, the cost is $250 if you want to participate live, or if you just want a subscription where you don't attend class, but I send you the class discussion recordings every Sunday or Monday. And then that's $150 if you want to do that. Keep in mind, I also do astrology readings. Those are $150 on Zoom for a live discussion. And I guarantee you that I've done probably 300 readings by now, something like that. And never had a disappointed customer, ever. It's always a whole bunch of revelations every single time. It is a journey of spiritual exploration that really straightens you out, especially if you're in a difficult period in your life right now. If you're in a crisis period, most likely you've got Saturn and Pluto on your case. So you need to know that because there's a specific time frame for that transit. If it's Pluto doing the transiting, the time frame is 3 years. You're going to have a really rough time for those 3 years. If Saturn transits Pluto, it's only 1 year. Okay, so stuff like that. So there's lots of relevance here with Mason and Dixon interfacing with astrology and astronomy. I've also advertised my Motorcycle Girl trilogy of novels that I'm working on right now. The first one is completed, Every Angel is Terrifying, and I've put the description here and the Amazon order page for those of you who are interested in purchasing a copy. It's hardcover and in full color, and it's loads of color, and I think they've got it priced at $50-something, and that's because I have to pay $40 if I want every copy I want. I have to pay $40 because it's how expensive the color is. So then I'm working on the sequel, Motorcycle Girl Descends into Hell. This is part 2. It's sort of a rewrite of Dante's Inferno. I used Dante's Inferno for this book the same way that Joyce used the Odyssey as the structuring backbone for Ulysses. I'm doing the same thing here with Dante's Inferno. Not that I'm comparing myself with Joyce, of course. And then the third one will be called There Is No Place That Does Not See You. That is also a quote from Rilke, as is the first title, Every Angel is Terrifying. Those both come from the Duino elegies, which are absolute masterpieces of poetry. If you want to know how to do poetry correctly, you read Rilke. That's how you get it done correctly. That dude meant some serious business. Okay, so there's that trilogy, and then here's the curriculum. I'm still ironing it out. It'll be roughly 100 pages every week. And here's the enrollment page. And then there are previous courses that you can obtain. Understanding Moby Dick, we're finishing that up. We're already done with Finnegan's Wake, Ulysses, The Magic Mountain, all kinds of stuff. Right now we're going through the philosopher Paul Virilio. We just completed Jean Baudrillard, and I have available classes on Nietzsche, the history of German idealist philosophy, all kinds of good stuff. Understanding the Hermetic tradition, that one was a blast. Going through the whole Hermetic tradition, that was amazing. Learned all kinds of things, hidden things, occult things, things concerning John Dee and Giordano Bruno and those guys. All right, so if you're interested in those courses, email me at johndavidebert@gmail.com, because the type of subscription I have with Teachable does not allow me to display all of the courses. They want a ridiculous sum of money monthly to display all the courses that have been recorded, but I have all of them in my possession, and I can send them all to you. They average $150 for 8 classes, which usually contains, if it's a novel we're talking about, it's usually 1 class discussion per week, so it would be 8 videos. If it's a work of nonfiction or philosophy that we're talking about, then it's 16 videos, because I always do a lecture ahead of time before the class discussion for those. Same price, though, $150. So, all right, I'll leave it there, and I hope you enroll.